Hello and welcome, and today we have Naruto in his 6 paths Sage mode. Here's the very beginning rough sketch of him. After that you do the more detailed sketch, as you see here. And then I just began to move on to the Ninetales in the back, and here's where the fun part begins. And at this particular part, I'm just blocking in the different areas to get a sense of where everything was at. And as you can see here, I kind of immediately jump into color with the basic gradient maps, and I just merged it into one layer. And from this point on, I'm painting strictly in color. It is something that I wanted to get better at. So the only way you get better at anything, especially in art, is to actually do it. So because of that, traditionally I always did everything in grayscale with the highlights, the shadows, the midtones, the textures. But for this piece I wanted to do more so in color. So because of that, that's why for this Naruto piece it did take longer than normal, because when you digitally paint in grayscale, your main focus is just on highlights and shadows and texture, not really the color. It's added afterwards, obviously. But when you paint in color, you have to obviously paint it the colors that you want at that moment. And it did take a little adjusting and getting used to. But it's something, like I said, if you want to get better at it, you always have to do and practice what you need to improve at. If you want to get better as an artist, you always have to do things you're not always comfortable doing, or things that you may feel like you're not as good at doing. I've gotten so comfortable with doing things in grayscale to color that I want to obviously expand. So because of that, this is one of the pieces that I chose to put more effort into just doing it all in color. Like I said, it did take a little learning. Typically I always do my backgrounds all in color, but not so much the actual characters. For the most part I do the hair color, but like I said, it's one thing that I'm trying to get better at. And a little tip to make a sense of depth is, you see all these effects I'm doing, they're over and in front of Naruto to give it that sense of depth that he's actually in there. Here I wasn't really liking how the teeth of the Ninetales looked, so I changed it. Here's the final piece of Naruto in 6 paths Sage mode. And the total drawing time was 16 hours. If you like this video, why don't you give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, why don't you consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss any new drawing that I put out. And until the next video guys, goodbye.